Hattie and I am back for part 2 of Mollie's modern home. So this is going to be the whole of the interior for the build, and this is the bit which I was really looking forward to because it's not going to be the traditional kind of interior that I usually go for. It's going to be a very modern, very minimalistic styled house, and I think that looking back it should have definitely been more minimalistic than I left it. But I thought, I've got to make it mine, I've got to make it my own and make it look like it's been lived in. So I did that and I had a lot of fun doing it. But what I was doing at this point is I was picking out the different wallpapers and the flooring, and I was also deciding where I was going to have a storage cabinet because I definitely wanted one. I like to put them in most of my builds. They're from the Sims 4 Get Together expansion pack, which I love, and I just adore that storage cabinet. What can I say? I think it really gives something to the build and I like it. Children can play in it and it's something to do. But anyways, what I was doing is I was thinking about how I was going to decorate the hallway. The hallway was probably one of my favourite rooms looking back, because what I did was when I actually went upstairs, I got rid of the whole floor and I made it a humongous overhang, which looks really, really special. So you'll see that in a little bit when we get to doing that part. What I was doing is I was sticking a study table underneath the stairs because I really like that. I've never done that before and I think that it looked really, really special. So I was definitely happy with that. And at this part, I was adding some plants to the area. I thought I would brighten it up a bit, add some plants, add some ornaments and stuff like that, because I thought with being a modern house, I definitely wanted some sculptures and things like that in this home because I thought that that would be what makes it really special. I was putting some interesting wall art on the wall there, as you'll see, which isn't really a normal thing to have in any house. But I thought with using the moving object sheet, it looked particularly special. So I left it in. It looks a little bit odd, but I like it. It really does give something to the build and it makes it look very individual. So I was pretty happy with that. What I was doing is I was making sure I put lots of lights around the build because it was really dark for some reason. I don't know why. My builds aren't usually this dark, and in fact with the amount of windows that this build has, I was really, really surprised at how dark it actually was. So I don't know what the problem was, but I had to keep putting some lights around, which was a huge part of this build. But what I was doing here is I was thinking about who would live in this house, and I was maybe thinking about people in the film industry. That's what I was thinking. So I put a lot of those posters around the build because I really liked it. I thought that it was really special and it was something that I don't think that I've done before, and I liked it personally. In fact, looking back, I should have definitely put a cinema room downstairs. Oh, I'll have to do that at some point. I'll have to go back to it and do it. But anyway, so this was the gym room. I was pretty proud of this room. I really thought about changing the colour, but then I thought to myself, maybe during the end of it, I thought it's just too out there. I mean, it doesn't really match the house. I wanted the house really being black, grey and white and really, really modern. But I just thought that that room, even though it did look modern, it just didn't really fit in with the build and I didn't really like it in the end. So what I did is I changed the colour, and I think that I come back to that room maybe a little bit later on. But at this point, what I was doing is I was trying to figure out where I could put a nice bar area. The house itself actually has 2 of these. It has 2 bar area rooms, so lots and lots of drinking in this house, because it has an identical one upstairs in the sauna room because I put a sauna room upstairs. So you'll see that in a little bit. But at this point, I was putting in some ornaments. I was putting in some tables because I was forgetting a lot of the tables in this house. And I usually put in more tables, but I thought, no, I just want to put some sculptures in. Paintings and things were a main feature of this whole build. So I put a lot of those in and I think they look nice. I also used quite a few of those new bookcases which I found. I say they're new, but they're not actually new to everybody else. They're just new to me because I don't think I've ever used them before, but they're the industrial looking bookcases, but I really like them for this build. I think they went really well. But this is when we were back to the gym area, so as you'll see, I just made it look a little bit more neutral, and I made it fit in with the build a bit more because I thought that the brown, even though it's still brown, it's not black, it's not white, it's not grey, but it still fits in a little bit. I mean, the colours do kind of go together, and also some of the shades of wall paint that we do have, like the blacky brown colour, It's quite similar to that, so it just looks like a lighter shade of that, so it's okay, it fits in, I think so. Anyway, but this was the dining room. The dining room was a humongous room. I don't usually make the dining rooms this big. In fact, this was a real surprise to me because I didn't plan it out this way. I have no idea how I ended up with so much room here, but I did. I ended up with a really, really big dining room. So it would be really nice if you have some guests around or you have a big family that lives here, because there's definitely enough room for a big family. I think that if you wanted to, you could make some more bedrooms. You could do lots of things in this house if you wanted to do it. It just depends what you want it for. But this was the little hallway. I thought about putting in a fish tank because I just love watching fish. I think that it's so relaxing. I don't really spend a lot of time on The Sims looking at fish, but when I go on holiday, I always try to go snorkeling if, of course, it's available. Not if I'm going on a ski holiday, that just wouldn't be practical. But I love it. I would never dream of going scuba diving though. That's one thing that I wouldn't personally do. Let me know in the comments if you go scuba diving or if you've been scuba diving, because it seems pretty scary. My sister did it, but I couldn't do it. I'm claustrophobic myself, so that would just frighten me to death. So couldn't do that. But anyway, so this was the kitchen. I made it so that it really did fit in with the rest of the build. The kitchen was a very dark room, so I did actually brighten it up towards the end, and I put some different wallpapers in because that all-round black colour just for the kitchen looked really, really plain. So what I decided to do at this point is make the walls stone, or at least 2 of them, and then the other 2 were the remaining colour. And I sometimes do that just to break the rooms up a bit, and I think that it really does help. But the room that we're on to next is the miniature study. So I thought with already having a study area under the stairs, it would be such a shame if I then really took up a whole room having a study, because it's already kind of been done. So I thought for this room, what I'd do is I'd make it a little bit more casual, so it's not as formal as I would usually have a study. But I did put in a DJ stand because I thought that this house being a little bit modern and maybe a bit different, that might be a suggestion. I mean, I don't know if the family would have the DJ stand downstairs, but it's definitely something for the Sims to do. So that's what I was thinking. Now here was the bathroom, and what an unfortunate place to put all those windows on, because I honestly had to change them. I could not have a bathroom with that many windows because I just have to have the blinds down permanently. So I thought what I'd do instead is I'd change the windows and I'd go for the ones that are blacked out. So even though we can see out, people can't see in, which just makes such a better idea. And it's just so much more practical than I think that it would be having really an open bathroom. So that's what I was thinking there. This was the part when I was trying to put in the staircase and I was trying to make the walls work. Sometimes this is really difficult, even though it looks really, really easy when I'm doing it now. It's actually very difficult sometimes, especially for the really big builds that I do. Some of the mansions take me a really long time to do the stairs for. In fact, Hogwarts, which I recently did, I'm going to say I spent about 30 minutes probably just doing the stairs. So it was an interesting process. But this is the part where I was starting to put the lights in. I thought about having a really, really big light over the staircase, which I think looked really, really special. But something to note, if you are doing that, then just make sure that you haven't got any lights which are currently on the invisible floor, because it looks really weird like there's floating lights otherwise. And that is a mistake which I made quite a while ago, but I've corrected now and I've kind of got used to doing it. But I think it looks nice like that, and it's definitely something that is a bit different about the build, which I really like. It makes it really open plan, and I was just putting some details around it to kind of complement the area. One of the things that I do really like about this build is the fact that it has stone slabs, which you can see now. I didn't used to use them because on my old computer I used a lot of custom content, and I used a lot of custom content for building, but I didn't upload anything to the Sims 4 gallery. At that point I was just practicing and using it myself. But I was absolutely convinced for a really long time that those slabs were custom content because they look really, really different and detailed, but turns out they weren't. So I use them all the time now, which I'm really, really happy about. But anyway, so what I was doing up here is I was just putting some decorations around. I was putting some storage because I thought, even though I do want this house to be a little bit minimalistic, maybe a bit industrial, not too much on the industrial scale though, because I am going to do a separate industrial build at some point. But what I was doing is I was just filling it up. I was trying not to overdo it though. I mean, some places in this build I was absolutely desperate to put stuff in, but I really did have to stop myself from doing it, and I thought to myself, no, I've got to make it plain and minimalistic and really try with this one. So that's what I was doing throughout this. What I was doing at this point as well is I was just bringing some of the floor tiles up from the downstairs, because sometimes I forget what I've actually used and it can really help me out sometimes. But this was one of the main bedrooms. So this was a blue, black and grey room by the time that I finished. But I was having some problems. I don't know whether it's because we had a new update not long ago, but what was actually happening here was I was having some real issues with painting the walls, and sometimes the paint would leak through to the wall behind it and it just wouldn't look very good. So I don't know why that was happening. I mean, it wasn't anything that I was doing, but maybe it was just some kind of weird glitch, but I'm not sure. I'm hoping it's not going to happen again. So we'll just have to see. But anyway, so what I was doing is I put in a games table. I don't usually put one of those in my builds. In fact, it's been a really long time since I've used one of those, but I thought for this room it was perfect because I didn't know whose room this would belong to. I mean, I'm not sure if it would be a teenage room or a young adult room. I just didn't know, but I put one in anyway. I don't usually use them, mainly because I feel like when I do put them in my builds, it's the first place that the Sims always go to and they just avoid everything else. I mean, there's always somebody on one of those machines, but I thought, why not? I mean, it's a modern build and it's an enjoyable house. Like, it's a house with lots and lots of things to do, and I think that it would be fun. So then I was putting in a bathroom here. It was a really standard bathroom, nothing really special went into that room, unfortunately. And I did the same with this one over here. I didn't really feel like putting a lot of effort into the bathrooms because I thought that I wanted them dark, minimalistic, a little bit gloomy, and I mean, just there really to be a bathroom, not really to be a sociable room or anything like that. Nobody really chills out in the bathroom anyway, so I don't think that it was a big deal. But anyway, so this was a huge room. This was, I guess, one of the master bedrooms. I think maybe this and the other one were definitely the master bedrooms in this home. So this was the other big one. I actually went for the fact that I would have really big bedrooms rather than lots and lots of small tiny bedrooms and have more of them. If you did want this house to have lots of bedrooms though, you could definitely take out some of the extra rooms that I put upstairs, and also this room would really easily split into two and you could make 2 bedrooms out of it, just depending on what you wanted. But this room here was a children's bedroom or a teenage room. Wasn't really sure which one it was, but I thought I would have it dark and really make it fit in with the rest of the house. It wasn't supposed to be a main bedroom, it was just supposed to be an extra room in case you wanted to use it for anything. If you had kids, if you had guests around, then this would be a perfect room, I thought. It has got an ensuite bathroom over here as well, which is nice because it joins up to the master bedroom, or at least one of the master bedrooms. So I thought that was a good option to have, but you could have it as anything. You could even have it as a baby room if you wanted to. You could put a little crib in there and you could have it as that. It just depends on what you're looking for. But I put some lights in there and I finished it off by doing that. And the last room that we had to do was the sauna room. So this was the bit that I left until last. So this was definitely an extra room, which I don't usually put in my builds, but I thought with being a really modern home, maybe it would be nice just having 3 bedrooms and maybe having some luxurious rooms like this. So in this room, what I did is I filled it up by putting in lots and lots of decorations. I put a bar here, which I like to think about the fact that it's a juice bar instead of just an ordinary alcoholic bar, I guess. So I like that. I like the idea of it. It's like a healthy room. I mean, it's like a detox room or something. So I really like that. But then what I was doing is I was just putting some lights around the build, and that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.